Witness Notes 4. Cercal, Alentejo, Portugal, April 2020. After you have read these introductory paragraphs once, you can skip to the new, old content here. If you are listening, then the timestamp is around the 2-minute 45-second mark. Introduction. The word settled to me carries connotations I am keen to avoid. I have never felt settled, or perhaps I cannot recall a time I felt settled. I do not feel settled now, writing this, and I've lived in the same house for 3.5 years. Without even discussing the obvious issues of colonisation, I just don't feel like I could or should settle. Better to keep my constituent parts shook up, agitated perhaps, rather than separating and stagnant. Instead, I feel as though I have been travelling for years, maybe because I have not lived in my home nation of Scotland for 8.5 years. Perhaps because I know I won't stay here forever, or maybe because I carry that concept of home in a way which differs from many. More precisely, I still think of myself as a slow traveller, globally feral. Recently, I've been revisiting places through the photographs and words I recorded when my feet crossed their soil. This is a way of reminding myself of where I have been, not just in space and time, but in mind too. It is a wonderful thing to come out of below and rediscover myself through words I crafted, through the lens of a camera, when memory has wandered in the fog for too long. Thank you, past me. When I first started sharing letters with the world in this fashion 6 or more years ago, I usually began them with a vignette of where I was, a sort of travel diary mixed with nature observation, locking in the setting for the reader before I spoke of other things, and by so doing ensuring that place fed into the whole. It was a useful device for a reader and myself both, but as these letters were sent to so few readers, and now languish archived behind a paywall, I thought it a shame not to share these snippets again. As such, I am going to share a short series of these sketches accompanied by a photograph from that time, sent to you in date order, beginning with the second eldest. I shall include the above paragraphs in each of the letters in this series, but I shall also include a link at the very start so you can skip ahead once you are familiar with the above words. If you are listening and similarly want to skip, then the timestamp you want to navigate to will be in the same place. Taken without these paragraphs, each is a short read, and I hope you enjoy them. Cercal, Alentejo, Portugal, April 2020. Outside the window a world warms, stories of life everywhere. Swirls of stalks climb invisible spirals. Beneath strata of swallows maneuver, twist, break and snatch. Maneuver, twist, break and snatch. Lower still, plummeting sparrows falling from our eaves to the orange grove below, a constant squabble. Beyond the stalks rises a bird of prey, perhaps a buzzard, perhaps something else. I do not have my binoculars to confirm, and the angle is off. 3 crows mob and give chase, an explosion of collared doves below, flashing from thicket to thicket. Earlier 2 ravens headed west, scaring the same doves and a brace of wood pigeon, a cycle which continues throughout the day. The shepherd is moving the sheep from the field with the olives to the one with the holm oak shade. His dog at this distance could be a hunting wolf. Further, a field of brown and well-fed cattle move along the edge in single file. A solitary dark horse in the field between. Geese, chickens, and vegetable gardens closer still. Dusty tree-lined trails mark boundaries, arteries to the wilder places beyond this village. Here the trees and bushes are mostly green, with the others in blossom or still awaiting their moment to burst into leaf once more. This is a reversal from the land I grew up within, where the verdancy of holly or ivy was welcome in the winter, whilst all else slept, drained of colour and monochrome hibernation. The cork oaks, the oranges and lemons, the satsumas, the eucalyptus, the holm oaks, and the others I am still trying to identify, this is a rolling land of green winters and blue azul skies. It is a land of surprisingly cold winds and reassuringly warm sun, sudden dawn and swift sunset, a land chiming with the church bell, toll unchanged through centuries. Sleek cats cross the village on terracotta clay tiles, a highway in the sky, a stratum of her own. Below, the dogs bark at their scent, and the ink shadow of a returning stalk brushes across shining paper-white walls. Today's approach to the nest directly parallel to our kitchen window. The local grandmothers hush the dogs, shoo the hens, and sit for a spell, short woolen cloaks over their shoulders, sun seeping into leathery tan skin, heating old bones, mimicking the lizards in the grass. Warmed, they move fast, determined, sweeping, hanging laundry, cooking on braziers, moving heavy wooden furniture outside clean. Another pause, and an animated discussion with neighbours, arms are raised, fingers pointed, chins are jutted. World affairs on a tiny, mostly unchanged street. These couples heard tell of other diseases, of wars, of births and deaths, of love. Countless stories of life. If I were to open the window, I would hear their words, drifting up toward me and to the stork nest to the left, as the fragrance of the blossom fills the room and the rising warmth of spring flows into the kitchen. Stories of life, life-forming stories, constantly. Finally, if you can afford to, there are currently 2 direct ways to support my work here. The first is to take out a paid subscription. The second way to support me here is to use my Ko-fi button link to send a tip of any amount. If you enjoyed this letter and wish to share it with others, please do so. I love it when someone shares my work. I also love it when you comment on a piece. Really, really love it. During 2025, I have not been as good at responding to comments as quickly as I would like, but seeing as my word of the year for 2026 is almost certainly going to be communication, I like to think that will soon change. Finally, many thanks for reading. I truly appreciate each and every one of you who does.